Today we're going to be reviewing the Caydo I-cord machine. This is the pro variant of it. I bought this with my own money. I paid this much money for it. I got it in the Christmas sale, so I got a double discount. So I'll be reviewing it as that price. They haven't sponsored me in any way for this. So all opinions are my own. They don't get to see it beforehand or anything. The machine is pre-assembled almost completely when you receive it. The only additional assembly you have to do when you get it is to attach this tensioning arm on the front. So it's just a single screw here that you just slot it in and screw it in. It came with a screwdriver in the box, which was the correct size, so you don't need any other tools. I think it's got Loctite on it, blue Loctite, so I'm not undoing it and redoing it for the camera, but it was very simple and very straightforward. It took me a couple of minutes. The machine itself is powered by USB-C, which is great because you don't want any more USB cables or weird power cables for it. It takes, on the bottom it says, it takes 5 volts at 3 amps. So although it came with a wall wart on the box to plug it into the mains, you should be able to plug it into a battery bank, like a phone charging battery bank, and then power it off that if it can do 3 amps, which most of them can now. So it is a semi-portable. If your craft room doesn't have the power outlet near where you want it, you can run it off of that. I'll test that in a minute. The machine itself seems to be very well made. It's sturdy, it's quite heavy. It's plastic construction, but it doesn't feel cheap plastic like some things are. In the box we had a couple of balls of yarn to start yourself off on it, 2 sets of spare needles, a screwdriver for assembling it, and a couple of hooks for working with the yarn. So let me get some yarn and demonstrate. The yarn that came with it is just a simple acrylic yarn, weight 3 DK. So this is the yarn they send with it, and it works well as expected. So let me plug this in so we can get a demonstration. It's quite easy to hook up. I'll quickly demonstrate that now. So the yarn goes through the tensioner. So this part lifts up here, and then you can feed the yarn through the tensioner. Then it has to go through this hole in the top. This plastic sheath rotates round. So if it's not at the top, you just use the handle here to rotate it round so it is at the top. This can turn in both directions. Then you have to make sure the needles are open. So it has 4 needles on this machine with little latches. So you open all the latches. Now here you can either run it through the machine first or hook it on the hooks first. Probably it's easier to run it through the machine, but you can do it either way. You use the handle here and you go forward and knit. So you want to catch it on the first needle, then you want to miss the second needle, catch it on the third needle, so this one down here, and then miss the 4th needle. Obviously you do need to keep tension on the string. So using your tension here, then you tension it by pulling on it. So to start off with, I like to pull on it and ignore the gears for now and the automatic mechanism, and just pull on it and give it a good bit of tension, not so much to break the yarn, but so it's taut. Then you turn it on, so it's got 3 speeds, so I recommend turning on to 1 to start off with, and then hold the tension. And keep holding the tension until it gets out to the other end. Once you've got enough length to stick out past the end of the gear mechanism, then turn it off, lift up the gear mechanism, slide it between the teeth, so you're maintaining a bit of tension, so give it a little bit of tension, and then turn on the thing again, and then it should carry on automatically undoing it. So this machine is relatively noisy. So this is at its slowest speed. I've got a lav mic on my chest, so you'll be able to hear it quite noisily in front of me. So the device, it has 3 speeds. It has speed 1, speed 2 and speed 3. They are, I think if I remember the manual correctly, 15 centimeters per minute, 30 centimeters per minute, or 45 centimeters per minute. But this is speed 1, which is what I mainly use. Then I'll do speed 2, which is what they recommend for a day-to-day use. But I think that's a bit fast. And then you have speed 3, which is ridiculous. So speed 1, speed 2, speed 3. I never use speed 3. I don't see a difference in the knit quality though, which is good. So here is about the length that I've just done. I'll do a knit quality assessment in a second. So let me grab a pair of scissors. So when you've got the length that you want, you just can easily cut off the excess. So I do it there at the handle, so that frees up that ball. And then you turn the machine on, and then it just feeds through the wire, and then it goes through the machine with the automatic gears at the back until it comes out the other side. So it comes out the other end. Okay, so this is the cord I've just made, and I ran through the 3 different speed settings. So this is at the slowest speed. Oh no, wait, this is, yeah, so this is all 3 settings here. And I can't see any difference in stitch quality between the 3 settings. I can't see where one speed stops and the next speed starts. Admittedly, this is using their wool, so this is probably the best case scenario for it. But it's consistent all the way across. So I don't think there's a massive penalty if you want to run it faster. It's just, as you probably saw, feeding it the yarn at a unknotted state at the right speed is tricky at the higher speed unless you have perfect yarn ready to go. For transparency, we've had our first bad stitch. So you can see here that it's missed the stitch going through. It recovered afterwards, so the rest of it is perfect, but it missed one stitch here. This may be due to a knot in the feeding. I think when you feed it inconsistently, or there's a tie up in the bundle of yarn, or there's more tension than it likes, then it misses stitches, or it goes wrong, or the pattern's not as tight. But when you're feeding it correctly, I've had remarkably good results, so that I've had very few errors. When I say I've had few errors, I mean I've done quite a bit. So here is a bundle of, I don't know what this is, this mystery yarn. I bought it in a charity shop, someone else's unfinished project. And this ran through, this is probably only about half of it, the rest is deployed in a Christmas tree project. And this went probably, it was a full ball of yarn, and I don't think I had an obvious error in any of it. So that worked well. Here we have, let me undo these so I can see it. This is twisted yarn, so I've got two I cords here twisted together, and this again was quite a lot of yarn. We're talking probably 2 meters worth without a single error in it, in both colours, so that worked well. So the blue yarn in this pattern here is quite a heavy, it's a rowan spun tweed yarn, Aran weight. So this is pure wool, so it's happy with both acrylic and wool. It does seem to be fine with either. I did notice that this Aran weight wool pattern was considerably thicker, more tight of a pattern than the other wool I was testing. Some sparkly wool. So this is wool, I think this was acrylic from a charity shop, DK weight again. And this knitted fine, and it didn't get caught up or destroy the little plastic silver or gold strip that runs through it. So this has got a little plastic strip that runs in, is weaved into the yarn, twisted into it, and this knitted fine with the machine. So it's DK weight again. We have here quite a soft, I think this either acrylic or cotton again, and this was a nice soft fabric, and this knitted fine, another mystery wool. The errors I've had are very rare, and they're usually explained by poor tensioning. As promised, I've done a quick test to see if it will run off a USB battery bank. I'm using an Anker one with a built-in USB-C cable here, and it works fine with all 3 speeds. Obviously you get less time using the machine with the different speeds. I'm using a Anker bank which is a 10,000 milliamp power bank, fully charged. It said about 10 hours at the lowest speed, about 6 hours at medium speed, and about 4.5 hours at the fastest speed. So obviously you can scale it up in terms of power banks. This is a relatively small power bank, only 10,000. You can get 20,000 or 40,000 or massive power banks if you want. But that's the sort of benchmark you're looking at. So I reckon one charge of this could easily do a good few hours of crafting with. So I don't think that's a major issue. So overall, I'm pleased with the machine. Someone said to me, does it do anything else? It doesn't do anything else, but it does this one thing very well. A lot of devices now try to do too many things and suffer for it. This makes I-cord very consistently and without many errors. The only errors I've found are mainly due to human error or faults with myself kind of thing, or with the yarn going into it, rather than the machine itself. I can't say how long this will last, and for long-term review you have to check back on this channel in the future. But at the moment I'm quite pleased with the device. If you have any ideas what I can do with all this I-cord that I'm making, I seem to be accumulating bundles of it now, please let me know in the comments and I'll try and cover that in a future video. One past project which I showed earlier in the video was a Christmas tree that I made for my door at work. This was using aluminum wire in the centre of the I-cord. I'll cover this in a future video on how I do that and how the things you can make with that sort of technique. So get subscribed to that. I'm getting very close to the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, which is the kind of the basic threshold on YouTube for a YouTuber. So any help to getting towards that goal would be much appreciated. If you have any ideas for any future videos you want me to make, please let me know in the comments.